Hello, I'm Rick Stivers. I'd like to welcome you to Young Martin's Reels. The date today is the 12th of November, 2022. The date that you actually see this video for the first time, I have no idea when that's going to be because I'm going to start on this, but I'm not going to finish it today because this reel I'm going to try to restore. This reel was given to me by Ken, and I'm going to try to do a repaint on this, try to clean it up all the way and get it fully functional again. Possibly even put a new bearing in it, but we'll see. But today's project is just to get it torn down and start getting it cleaned up. And then I'm going to be taking it and I'm going to bead blast it with walnut shells, strip all this off, all the old paint off, and we're going to see if we can't get this thing back up and functional and running again. One of the things that I would like to do is find out just how non-functional it might be. So let's try to see if we can get some of this, what is this, 60, 80 pound test line that's on this thing. And it's all wrapped up inside it. It appears to be up underneath the spool. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the spool off real quick and see. Yeah, there's the line wrapped up in underneath it. This is an oily mess, and tell you what I'm gonna do. I am going to wrap a rubber band around that to hopefully keep that line in. Yeah, this is a really messy, oily reel, but I would like to operational check it before we get started on the tear down and rebuild of it. Okay, so the first thing I want to check is the drag. And the drag clicker is working fine. The drag seems to be working fine. Okay, let's see. Well, it's a little bit noisy. The anti-reverse override works. And the anti-reverse works. Okay, it is not an instant on anti-reverse. So it's a functional reel. And we're going to see what we can do about getting it stripped down real quick. And getting it ready to be repainted and repaired. Okay, let's go ahead and take the handle off. What does this one take? I believe that this one unscrews from this side over here. Yeah, there's the screw under this side. Not sure what we've got in here for grease, but there's a lot of it everywhere that I try to take something apart. There we go. Now the handle should slide out on this side. Now, one thing I'm not going to be able to do anything about is the chrome. There are places where the chrome is messed up, and that's just going to have to be the way it is. I want to screw this. I want to try to put this back partially on the handle. There we go. That should be enough to get it on there. There we go. That should do. Let's see if this is going to come out on this side. I believe that I have a nice, very wide screwdriver, which should take care of this. There we go. It does come undone. And there we go. Okay, I will be taking that apart and cleaning the grease out of that. This rattles, but it does move. So let's put some oil here And we'll put some down inside the handle, spin that around, and we'll let that one sit. All right, this is a messy reel. I have to keep wiping my hands off. Okay, we're going to take out these 3 screws now. I'm going to break each of them loose with a Phillips screwdriver. And then I'm going to proceed to take them out. I'm sorry, I'm breaking them loose with a common. And then I'm going to take them out with a Phillips screwdriver. Okay, all 3 screws are the same. And let's see if this will come off. And it does. It's very dirty, but it seems okay. Let's go ahead and rotate this around to here. All right, let's first off see if this axle, yeah, okay, the main gear came on out, which should make it easier to get that off. I'm hoping that those gears are okay. That's something I probably won't be able to replace if it's bad. Okay, let's see if I can scrape a little grease out of here. When you're dealing with a reel that has this kind of grease in it, it's a good idea to have a paper towel handy. So as you scrape the grease off, you've got a place to put it. There's a lot of dirt and sand, it feels like, in this grease. I'm hoping it hasn't done irreparable damage to this reel. We'll see. Okay, so far I still haven't been able to see how the crosswind block is secured. Hoping to find a screw. There it is. I was hoping there would be a screw in there. Okay. We should then be able to pull out the axle shaft. There we go. Axle shaft is removed. Now we can take out the crosswind block. Okay. And this reel is starting to see some serious wear right here. But it's not so bad that it will keep the reel from functioning. But because someone didn't properly lubricate this reel, and clean it, they have reduced the life expectancy of this reel. This reel basically should be a reel that should live just about forever. And because someone didn't take good care of it, I swear, it feels like it's being held in by a screw. There it is. Okay. I was going to say, it feels like there's a screw in there, and there is. Okay. There is a screw slot in there. Very thin screw slot. It is not going to take that screwdriver, nor do I think it will take this one. That is a lot of force on that screw, and it's still not coming out. There it comes. Okay. And I'm thinking that I might actually look for replacement gear if possible for that one, just because it seems to be very worn on the shaft itself. Okay, is there a shim in there? No, no shim. On the back side, there's no shim. All right. Now we're going to move over here, take this nut off. And let's see if we can get this rotor to come off. There we go. No shim washer there, no shim there. Okay. Now we're going to take this rotor all the way apart because we want to repaint it. So it's going to come all the way down. All the bail wire is going to come off, and Chris may say, oh no, don't do that, but that's where we're going to go, Chris. We're going to take it all the way apart because we want to do a repaint on this. This is too nice a reel. It's just such a quality reel, and I just can't leave it in this state. Someone has horribly, horribly treated this reel. There we go. Okay, now this screw goes all the way through, and what we've got is there's rust and corrosion down on the back side of this screw. So what I'm going to do is the screw starts to come out easily, and then as that rust and dirt gets into the threads, it starts to bind up. So what we're going to do is we're going to work that in a little bit and get that to work and clean those threads up so we don't tear them up. There we go. Okay, and this is our anti-reverse with our anti-reverse pawl built in, and there's quite a gap inside there at this point. And we're going to work to close that up a little bit. Okay, I will slide. Oh, well, our plan is to work this off. And we're going to have to work it around a little bit. There we go. And with a little effort, it came off. And that's going to take some soaking to get that cleaned up. All right. Now let's come back in here. Let's break these 3 screws loose. Oh, that's not good. All right, 2 out of 3 broken loose. Let's go back to my old favorite screwdriver for breaking things loose. See if we can't get that done. Okay. Now they're all three broken loose. And let's take this screw out. And now the plate's going to come off. And there comes the pinion with the bearing. That bearing sounds good. Okay, so this may not be so bad after all. All right, now we have a spring on this. There it is. Okay, here's our spring right here that is driving this. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and remove that spring off of there, because we got to have this out because we're going to repaint this. So this has got to come off. Normally, I don't take that off. But today, we are going to take that off. We're going to get hold of the spring. See if we can't get it up and out of there. There we go. And look at how it mounts. Comes around, goes into that slot right there. This is probably, yeah, in this position here is the furthest away, so that's where we would want to set it to reset it. All right, now we're going to take this screw out right here. And we're going to do that with this screwdriver. Penetrating well to go into the screw threads. It's beginning, I think, to loosen up if it doesn't snap the screw. What a mess. Okay, there's the knob off. There's the washer and the washer. Okay. And we're going to pull that out. And there is this portion disassembled. Okay. Now, I was concerned about how I was going to redo the chrome on this, and it turns out the chrome is perfect on this. It's the black that they use to cover the chrome up with that's coming off. So can I repaint that black and then polish out the chrome part? Yes, I can. So this thing's going to look like it's brand new, I think, or pretty close when we get it done, but it's got a lot of cleanup to do. All right, that took care of that. Now, I'm going to dispose of all of this, get it out of the way. All these parts here that you see are going into a parts bag to be cleaned. Okay, this one here goes to this goes to here. These parts over here are going to go on to here, like so. We'll slide this back on like that, and gently put this little screw partially back in, just enough to hold it. These 3 screws over here go with this. This spring goes to this. All right. This is going to go here. And here's our pinion with our bearing. There we go. Those go over there. And there's our crosswind block with our crosswind gear and our screw right here. And I really think that if I put a plastic washer in that gear, when I screw that down, it's going to tighten it down enough to keep that wobble out. Okay, those go there. This piece goes with this bunch here. This goes with this bunch over here. This one here goes with that. No, it doesn't. No, this piece goes to the crosswind block. This one goes in here. There we go. And we'll keep the axle shaft with the crosswind block. Now we are ready to disassemble the rotor assembly. We're going to start off on this side by removing the screw. And I got it broke loose. So boy, some of these screws are really tough, where you got the stainless steel screw in the aluminum body. Okay, did you see how that sprung out? Look at the corrosion on that screw. Okay, so we're going to spray that down with some WD-40. All right. Okay, this guy is sprung. It should be right up against right there. I'm not going to worry about trying to repair that until we get to the point where we're putting it all back together. But I will go ahead and give it just a little squeeze. And it's gonna take a lot more than that. This is a heavy bale wire. Okay. Now we're gonna take this screw out. Maybe I'm gonna take this screw out. I need a wider screwdriver. Okay, we're gonna go with this one. All right, I do not want to chew that up. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna see if I can get hold of just the head of that screw. Well, I'd never get that out with a screwdriver. Please don't break. Okay, well, I'm going to have to polish that. We're going to leave that one alone if I can get that bearing to turn. And it's not. All right, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to take it off here, and we're going to have to put this in to soak and see if I can get that to break loose later, because I'm going to break that if I keep putting that much force on it. So hopefully this one will come out. Yes, it did. All right, now I can feel the spring under there already pressing out. And I'm sure Chris is going to say, watch that big giant spring. Well, nothing there. Okay. So the big giant spring that's in this one is one of these type. Oh, that's really gummy in there. Okay. So wow, look at the size of that spring. Well, if that ain't a beast. Okay. Look at that thing. Ooh, it's a tough spring. All right. We'll get that together, those together. We'll put all of these parts together with the bail. And then I've got to strip this part and strip this part. Media blast them down and get them ready and repaint them. I'm going with the Krylon Fusion gold paint. And I think it'll look pretty good. No peel guaranteed, so hopefully it'll look pretty good when everything is said and done. So that's these three parts have got to be cleaned, sanitized, stripped, and ready to go. And I'm going to file just a little bit. There's little edges of this that are chipped, and I'm going to file that a little bit to smooth it, to keep it from cracking any further than where it's already broken. All right, now the only thing left that hasn't been taken apart is this spool assembly. So let's move on for that and see if we can get that out. Let's see if I can find the end of it. Okay, it appears to be right there. It's not. There it is. Okay. Look into it. Take that out. Okay. Let's see what kind of drag stack we got in here. All right. We have a greasy mess is what we got. Okay, set that over there. So we have a fabric washer, a keyed washer, fabric washer, an eared washer, fabric washer, and a keyed washer. And then on top of all of that goes the retaining spring. Okay. Next time you see this video, you will see hopefully all these parts are scrubbed up, and you'll probably be in the point of either showing you the bead blasting of this, or maybe it will already be painted. I don't know. I hate to get my camera anywhere near the bead blast or the paint, so maybe you won't see either of those. Maybe when I come back, everything will be cleaned and painted and ready for assembly, but we'll see. All right. Okay, I've got it down to this point, and it's looking pretty good at this right now. What I did find was that the bearings, especially this one, were bad, and I will show you what I ended up with. I think it was this one. Yeah, this one here, I ended up having to drive this one out, and I don't know if you can tell or not, but it's pretty beat up. and it doesn't turn like it should. So I've ordered a new set of bearings, and I'm going to these are the parts here that I'm going to bead blast down, or walnut shell blast down and clean up. And the thing that's got me concerned are these plastic plates right here. There's one on each side. There's one here, and there's one here. And I want to take these off in order to clean under them, clean them up, get the paint job on this thing good so that it looks really nice all the way around, and then put these back on. And in order to do that, I'm going to have to deal with where these are in the back. And I think what they've done, I think these were pushed through, and then they squeezed them down just to flare the heads out a little bit. So what I'm going to try to do is set this down to where it's just where the vise is on this side here and runs right along here. And I'm going to put a drill bit into my drill press backwards. And I don't want to drill these out. What I want to do is put pressure down on these and press them out. I want to work my way a little bit down on this one, a little bit down on this one, a little bit down on this, and work my way back and forth a few times until hopefully I've popped those out. And that's what I'm shooting for. And that way, when I go to put them back in, hopefully I can just clean them up a little bit around it, put some epoxy on them, and pop them back in, and hopefully they'll hold. So I've got one on that one and one on this side that I've got to try to clean up. And I'm hoping that's going to work. And then before I put them back on, the parts of these that are supposed to be black, I'm going to get them repainted black and have this detail all back so that when these come back together, they're going to look really good. What I plan to do on here is there's some rather severe pitting on this. So I think I'm actually going to sandblast this because it's so coarse to begin with. This part here, I'm going to sandblast it down. And once I've got it sandblasted good, I'm going to give it a coating of JB Weld and coat the whole thing down real nice with JB Weld, and then sand it down to bring it back to smooth like it should be. And the JB Weld should increase the strength, help bring that back, and at the same time make it look better. So that's my plan. We'll see how it works out. Okay, to say I was surprised is a bit of an understatement. I thought that these pieces were plastic, and they're not. They're metal. And what they've done is they've pushed these posts through, and then they've hammered or stamped them down to flare them out into the holes. And that is a really nice piece. This is what was left underneath there, so that's why I wanted to get them off. So I'm going to see if I can get that cleaned up. So I'm going to bring you in for this next one. You have to ignore all the noise in the background. That's all the neighborhood kids playing basketball out here in the street. All right, here's my second attempt on the other side. I'm going to see about pressing this one out. And it's going to be difficult because I only have one hand here. I'm going to set this up. Okay, I've got it set up on center right there, and I'm going to try to do this so you can see what's going on. There we go. Okay, that's one pushed partially through. Now I don't want to try to push it all the way down, because if I do, there's a good possibility that I could snap the plate. So I want to do each one a little bit at a time. Okay. And of course I'm going to run into trouble when I get to the very last one, because my drill bit doesn't seem to be long enough to get down in there without interfering with the boss right here. So I'm going to try to reset the drill bit and see if I can extend it out. Okay, I've got the drill bit extended down. I don't know how it's going to work. We're going to try it. Can't really see if I'm centered. Hang on, I want to check. Okay, I believe I'm on center. So we're going to see what'll happen. pressed it down some, but I think I'm off center just a little bit. All right, there came the last one, punched through. And yeah, there was quite a bit of crap up underneath that. So hopefully I haven't damaged the plate. Let's take a look at it. Okay. All right, the plate looks good. So I should be able to scrub that up, get it repainted black, bring out the highlights on it, and hopefully be able to put it back on when we get done with the rest of this. That seems to be successful. I've got, as you can see, those really need to come off. And if you look at the back sides of them, they are metal, and they were swedged down on there. So I believe what I can do is I can set these back up with a post directly on the other side once I've got them pressed back in, and I think I can hammer them out, especially if I use a center punch to flare the top out just a hair as I put them in. I think these are going to be great. So I've got to scrub these up, get them cleaned, all cleaned up, repainted black, and then I've got to come back and get the black off of the top of the shiny parts. Now, some of the chrome is worn off here, so there's nothing I can do about that. It's going to be silver instead of gold. But they're still going to look so much better than they do right now. And if you look at this guy, I mean, this has really been the run through the ringer and back. But overall, the gear teeth look pretty good on both that and the pinion. The pinion still looks pretty good. No excess wear there. I'm sorry to say you guys didn't get to see me sandblast this. There was just no way. I could barely see inside my sandblasting cabinet. It is weathered so badly that I had to kind of peer through. I had to put a sheet over my head kind of thing and peer through the damaged glass to be able to get inside there and see. But anyway, they're all nice and sandblasted down. I tried to use walnut holes, and this paint just wouldn't budge. It was a tough paint. So I changed over to sandblasting, and hopefully that's not going to hurt too much. So the parts are all cleaned up now, ready for a nice coat of primer and a nice coat of paint. And before I do that, if you look very closely right here, this is pitted pretty badly. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to mix up some JB Weld, and I'm going to JB Weld this area, front and back, to smooth it and make it so it's more acceptable to a real mount. Quick explanation now. I took an acid brush like this, which you guys see me use them all the time for cleaning, and I took and I cut the bristles down to like this. Okay, and I'm going to use that to paint this JB Weld onto the foot of this. Because it's really thick. And once this cures up, I'm going to come back and sand it down nicely. And I'm going to put a little bit. My voice is going. I'm going to put a little bit on this inside edge. The inside edge seems to have been eaten slightly away. So it's only leaving just a sharp edge right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to run a bead of this JB Weld along that edge, and then we'll sand it down smooth afterwards. And I will come back in the morning and we'll see if we can't clean it up, get a coat of primer on these parts and get a coat of paint on them. And I'm still waiting on the bearing, so I'm in no rush to get this done. The bearing is 2 side bearings for the crankshaft, and I'm waiting for those to come in. Okay, it's the next morning. I couldn't wait too long. It's still dark outside, but yeah, my anticipation had gotten to me. Here it is. It's not going to be perfect, but I have sanded it down now, and it's got some scratch marks. And could I put another coat on here and fix all that up? Probably, but will I? Probably not. I'm an impatient person when it comes to things like that, and I'm not trying to make this a perfect restoration. I just want the reel to look a lot better. I am going to sand that just a little bit more right there. Okay, now that looks better. Overall, I think it looks pretty good, considering. I mean, if I was going to take and try to make this perfect, I guess I could have put another coat on, wait another day, sand it again, and keep going at it until it's all perfect. But that's not who I am. I just want a good, fairly attractive reel is all I'm shooting for. All right, so I'm going to see about getting this thing painted. And what am I using? I'll say you again. Krylon Fusion all-in-one primer paint. That's what I'm using. And we'll see if we can't get this thing back up and painted. Okay, as you can see, the paint job is done. I've managed. I did paint these up today. I don't think they came out too bad. I shot them with black paint, and then while the paint was still wet, I took a cotton cloth and wiped across the chrome to remove that from the paint. And the only part that doesn't look so good is where the chrome itself is beat up, and there's just nothing I can do about that. So that's about as far as I can get those. Overall, I think they look pretty good. Let's see if we can get this one mounted back on here. I managed to get this one pressed on earlier today. I did mess the paint up just a little bit right there. I might come back and touch it up. We're going to see if we can get these to press back in by hand. Remember, I had to press them out with the drill press. I think what we're going to do, and I'll probably mar the paint just a little bit. We will see. I'm going to set up my block of wood here. And I don't want to put too much pressure on the frame. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this side sit over the edge. If I set it up like this and I tried to tap this down in there, I could crack the frame along here. So what we're going to do is we're going to have it hanging over the side. And I'm going to take my, I'm going to take a towel and put it over here. And then I'm going to take my wooden handle for my paintbrush. There we go. See if that's pushing it in. It's starting to. It's starting to go in. Let's move over to this side now. You want to kind of, if you're going to do something like this, you want to kind of work your way back and forth on it, so you're not, so you're equally distributing the pressure as much as you can. I think what happened when I tried to do this side, I think I was up on this edge right here, so I need to come back out just a little bit, get to the, all the way up to the edge, and then move it out just a little bit. And there we go. That one's reset back in there as well. I would love to start putting this together, but remember that I told you that I had ordered new bearings for it. Well, the new bearings have yet to arrive, and I'm not going to try to assemble it until the new bearings have arrived. So we're going to end this. This is going to be the end of part 1, but you can see that the pieces are going to look pretty nice back together again. It's going to make a nice looking reel. So there you have, up to this point, part 1 of the restoration of the GS-90 Daiwa, and hopefully the bearings will be in the next few days and you'll get to see part 2. In the meantime, I'm getting ready to go fishing tomorrow, so I'm going to call this a quits for today. Edit this video, get it posted, and hey, tomorrow maybe you'll get a fishing video too. Take care. Bye.